Pitch a Kid was amazing. We had some amazing students on campus from elementary and middle schools around the area, and they were wonderful. They asked great questions, they thought critically, and they really fostered the spirit of entrepreneurship on our campus, which we're excited about. We also had some amazing entrepreneurs come pitch ideas and help audience members and the judges learn about new ways of doing things, new products, and new innovation.
It really was a very natural partnership between Southwestern and Pitch a Kid. What you're going to see today is the opportunity for professionals to talk about their ideas and for students to give their feedback. And quite honestly, that's what happens every single day on our campus.
I think we will definitely work with Pitch a Kid again, because Southwestern and Pitch a Kid are very alike in that they're excited about learning, they're excited about knowledge creation, and they're excited about people who dream big and want to bring their ideas to the world and really find a way to improve society.
The inspiration came from my daughter, who asked me 3 questions when I built a website. Who's this website for? How will they know about it? And who will go there? And I didn't have an answer. And that led me to think about how to take pitches to her. And she started asking really great questions. And that led me to ask her friends the same kind of questions. And they loved it. So we just kept doing it. And this is our 8th Pitch a Kid.
And I'm here to talk to you about Totes for Trees in association with our National Park Service. And it is a designer tote bag that supports the environment and protects our national parks. So our solution, or my solution, is to support the national parks through funding and representation. And that's what these bags are. These bags are going to be 100% eco-friendly and recyclable materials. Otherwise, it kind of defeats the purpose of saving the environment, right? And they're also stylish and practical bags for everyone. But the most important thing that they do is to help fund the projects that the National Park Service provides.
How much are you thinking to sell these for?
A lot of the products and the materials that we're going to be using will be a little more pricey.
My favorite presenter was probably the Buzu Cards because he seemed very into it. He seemed very motivated.
There's something awesome going on at my school that I really want to tell you about. It's changing the dynamic of how everything functions. And it's called Buzu Trading Cards. Now, Buzu bucks are pretty much like Monopoly money, right? Kids earn them, students earn them for doing the right things in the hallways and figure out what they are going to spend it on. And that's where the Buzu booth here comes in. We have the Buzu booth set up, and at the Buzu booth you can get all kinds of stuff, from stickers, you can get t-shirts with the characters on them, you can get the cards, you can get all kinds of things, but it gets better. The kids really line up, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's not necessarily because of the t-shirts, it's not because of the cards, it's not even because we've got really, really awesome bookmarks. The reason why they really line up is because the kids themselves can design the Buzu card. The kids are the ones that design the Buzu cards. That's why it's so popular. A kindergartner once told me, "Oh, where's that one where the 5th grader made it?" And the 5th grader said, "You know that one by the kindergartner? I want to go get that one." And that's how it works, but it gets even better. The coolest thing is that it turns into a game.
I created Buzu Trading Cards because my company needed to be something that I'm good at, that I wanted to share and help out schools and kids in general. So my company is basically taking the artwork of kids and then professionally re-rendering them so that kids can trade amongst themselves and kind of be a part of the company instead of just a consumer of the company.
Now, there are 3 huge ways how Buzu cards help schools, and they help teachers. The first one is, like I said, they help teachers teach and learners learn. Now, the cool part is that the game, it's got a deck in it, and inside the deck, they've got these red, yellow, green cards, and when they come up, the teacher can prepare easy, medium, difficult questions. Also, the students are obviously learning. They have to learn to make the card. They have to learn to play the game. It also builds creativity by making personal works of art. Can you imagine what that would feel like if you made a card and the whole school is scrambling and saving money to get what you made? In addition, the system encourages positive behaviors, which you saw, and school spirit. We'll get to that in just a second. Buzu cards, they're mostly created by yours truly, and I create them by looking at star tests. Now, just remembering that, if you collect Buzu cards and there it is, star test, you're sweating, you're shaking, and which one of these is a scalene triangle, maybe, just maybe, you'll be like, oh yeah, scalene. It's the one with the uneven because she gets kind of cranky.
I had a very, very positive experience with Pitch a Kid. Mike and his daughter were very welcoming. I found that the judges were exceptionally intelligent in how they thought about not just my pitch, but the pitch of the other pitchers. And it was a great experience. It really taught me to kind of streamline my product and streamline my ideas so that it could be easier to understand and more succinct.
And my vision for the future is I think every kid, every single one of you, if you dared to create a Buzu card and got it made, that card should be sold on our site for $1. And every time somebody, I don't care whether they're from Canada, Mexico, New York, California, if it's purchased even once, that $1 goes right to a school of your choice, most likely your own school. And that's what I think the emphasis is. This is Pitch a Kid. You guys should be empowered and given the opportunity to give back not only to your communities, but to yourselves. It's your creation.
How do you prevent, for example, if you get a card from someone in elementary school, let's say they don't have the most experienced drawing expertise, and you can't exactly figure out what it is, and so you make the card, and they're like, that's not my card.
There are two ways to solve that, and we pursue both ways simultaneously. The first one, if you take a look at this panel right here, we sell what are called Buzu Kins, short for like kindergartner, little kid cutesy. All they really are is a form, and the form comes with this blank mannequin. We've got ones for mermaids, ones for people, ones for pets, ones for robots, and they're just blank. And the kids already have this head start where they can start filling it in and coloring it. Now, some kids are bold enough that they don't need the blank, they just want to go for it. That's why we have Buzu Ambassadors, which is one professional, an art professional, that works at each campus. And if you get one from kindergarten, first, or second grade, you sit down with them and there's this short little interview where you discuss, so what is this? Oh, that's pretty cool. And how does it? Oh, because we're not at all trying to re-render anything for ourselves. We want to faithfully re-render what they did.
I think this one, what went well is, again, the logistics, and I think just having some really engaging entrepreneurs, and the judges were outstanding with some really good questions. And I think the judges always make the Pitch a Kid event, and they were all engaged, and the questions were the same questions I think you would see from angels and VCs.
Pitch a Kid was really fun. I think it's a great way for kids to learn about different careers, like especially in venture capital. And I think it's a great way for the entrepreneurs for them to kind of grow their business and have that on their resume.
Now, as a family, we love learning new things and exploring. We love building and tinkering and making. My boys and I love playing with electronics. But even for us, the world of electronics can be daunting. You see, a lot of times there can be a big gap between what we want to build and how we go about doing it. It can be hard to figure out exactly the right way to get to our goal, and I know that this is tough even for kids. For my boys especially, they love working with robots, but they don't know where to start. And I know that that's true for a lot of kids out there. And on top of that, you don't want to be bored. When you're learning something new, no matter how complex it is, you want to be entertained. You want to have fun while you're doing it. And this is why we created Carrot Pants. There are kids all over the world that are excited about robotics and technology and electronics and that want to learn these things. And we believe that the best way to get kids excited about electronics and to give them the tools to go deeper is through story. The story I started sharing earlier about Ed is one example of that in our first product. Our goal was to give kids a complete understanding of how to build their first circuit and light up an LED. But we didn't create a tutorial. We created a story about a green LED that needs to figure out how to light himself up before the sun sets in the city. And we're all in this together because we believe in this mission. Technology has the power to help change the world. And you all, kids today, will have the ability to use technology to change the world in ways that the rest of us couldn't even possibly imagine, much less bring about. And we want to give you the tools and equip you to help you get there. And it all starts with a story.
I think that being a judge was a very fun and like a really good opportunity for young kids to be like engaged in the world of business and, you know, starting off entrepreneurs.
What age range is this for?
That is a great question. So the age range we're targeting here is kids and families and parents of kids between the ages of 3 and 10. So the lower age range, the idea is that the books serve as a great introduction of the electronic components through story. They'll learn about LEDs and capacitors and resistors and what have you. And the older kids, not only can they read the books to younger siblings, but also build the circuits hands-on and sort of expand their understanding of the concept.
Why is this called Carrot Pants? I mean, it's super cool, but like, why?
Oh, the story behind that. So I named that business after actually my oldest son, who was a big fan of carrots when he was a baby and in diapers. And I'll just leave it at that.
FeverFit is a booking platform that allows users to book fitness classes with instructors in non-gym locations, such as public spaces, public parks, and apartment gyms. Technology has improved our lives in so many ways. However, it's also created a huge problem. It's caused us all to move around less and less in our daily lives. I noticed this problem when I was in high school, so I started working out regularly. In college, I realized my passion for helping others who wanted to achieve their fitness goals. However, I noticed that without my continual investment in my friends' fitness regimes, they would fall off after a couple months and lose focus. Whatever it is that keeps each of us from working out how we want and when we want, it's clear that this has become a massive problem faced by Americans when we take a look at the guidelines set forth by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. These are the weekly exercise requirements to be considered physically healthy. And you might be shocked to find that 80% of Americans are not meeting these guidelines. That means 4 out of every 5 people that you meet every day are not considered to be physically healthy. And this only leads to a life filled with chronic diseases and problems. Motivation lacks when gyms fail to provide diverse and personalized fitness options for each person. FeverFit is the solution. FeverFit helps users maintain variety by allowing them to tailor their fitness experiences to their personal preferences. Because we allow instructors to set up classes in non-gym locations, we cut out the overhead and we reduce the waste that usually comes with having a membership. And in the end, the user saves money. We also keep motivation levels high by connecting people to professionals who actually care about their fitness progress and their fitness growth, the fitness instructors. Our revenue model is simple. There's no memberships. You don't lose money when you don't go to the gym. You simply pay us whenever you want to book a class, and then we pay the instructors out, and we take a 20% commission out of this flow per transaction. We're looking for people who are going to help us build a world where positive motivation comes easy for fitness. We're FeverFit.
So, like you said earlier, sometimes you just felt like staying on the couch. How would you motivate people to get up on that figurative couch and to go out and to go places?
Yeah, so actually, the reason why we're focused on instructor-led fitness is because it's so much more powerful than saying, I'm going to go to the gym by myself. You know, if I have an instructor who is actually invested in my results and my growth, then I'm much more likely to go work out.
We hope that in the future we can bring PidgeKid to kids all around the world, and something that we think once VR gets a little more popularized or cheaper, we might be able to do a website where kids could strap on their VR and it'd be like they almost were at the PidgeKid event with us, so that they would still be able to experience it even if they couldn't be there.
So this is the way that banks used to work. You used to save up your money and put it all in your little piggy bank, and as soon as your piggy bank was full, you would take it to a real bank and you would become their customer. Once you were the bank's customer, then not only could you bring your money there for safekeeping, but maybe they would give you a loan if you didn't have enough money to maybe buy something big like a new house or a car so that you could drive to work. Today, these things called credit scores stop all of us from working with banks. They stop all of us from getting loans and getting cars and even being able to get to our jobs. This problem is really, really bad if you ever need to borrow money for something. If you want to go to a regular bank and borrow $1,000, it'll cost you about $27.29. But if you have a bad credit score or no credit score, you're going to have to go to a place like this, which is called a payday lending facility. You know how much it's going to cost you to borrow that same $1,000? $3,600. When adults have to deal with this all across the country, it costs them $11 billion. Can you even imagine that? That's enough money to fill up this room. So at MiraLend, we're here to help with this very difficult problem that families run into all the time. We do two things. Number one, we create a credit score based on your social media information that talks about how good of a person you are, how trustworthy you are, and how much you interact with your community. But one day, you'll be able to go into our marketplace and borrow and lend money just like you can at a bank. And for anybody that wants to borrow or lend money through our marketplace, we charge them just a little bit of a 3% fee. So I know you guys probably don't think about banking and think about this stuff very much, but when you do, I want you to remember that we're here to help families and here to bring the trust back to banking. We're MiraLend, and thank you all for your time today.
Okay, so I understand how you have this plan to make sure that the people you loan to are trustworthy, but would it be somewhat easy for them to fake it? They could make multiple fake accounts or bribe people to give them, good traction on social media. So how will you prevent from people lying about who they are and that they're a good person?
That is a great question, because dealing with fraud and dealing with people that are lying is a big problem in business, especially in banking. But there's a funny thing about people that lie. They're usually not very good at it. And so when we look at people's social media information, if we look at their Facebook account, we look at their Twitter account, we look at their LinkedIn profile, usually people that are lying reveal in some way that are lying. So we just have to look very carefully, and we can almost always find the people that are lying and make sure they don't become a part of the system.
What makes your service unique compared to the other services?
So as we work on this, we really just want to be focused on making a new way to make credit scores, because nobody has figured out a new way to do this for almost 30 years. And so we are the only ones that are actually working on this in the United States.
So third place goes to Carapan Studio. Got one? Awesome, thank you. And second place goes to FeverFit. Thank you. And the winner of the Southwestern Pitch-A-Kid, the inaugural Southwestern Pitch-A-Kid, is Buzu Trading Cards. Woo! Awesome. My personal favorite is, it's a combination. It's one, watching the kids light up because they get excited about seeing entrepreneurs pitch and seeing them get excited about their own purpose and passion is fun for me. And equally important is watching the entrepreneurs realize this is a good experience, and they come up to me afterwards and say, this really made me think about how I pitch, and I just enjoy the combination of helping kids and helping entrepreneurs. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is actually kind of when the kids ask questions and the entrepreneurs kind of like not space out, but they kind of don't realize the kids would ask these types of questions, like, actually, that's a good question.